start. Rookie out of Purdue, undrafted. His junior year, he suffered a dislocated ankle, broken fibula, ligament damage. Thought maybe his career would be over. And now here he is, a Thanksgiving Day starter. Good for him. We'll see how he can do. Unfortunately, not good for him. This is the guy he's got to keep an eye out for. Khalil Mack right there for the Chicago Bears, who can get to 500. Never know what you could do in your final 4 games when you're 500. However, if the Cowboys fall to 500, different story, right? Right. Two possible 6-6 records, 2 totally different stories as the drama is on tilt in Dallas.
The Patriots, they don't make mistakes. They make you make mistakes.
Pollard sprints up to the ball, goes right by him.
Gosh, dang it. Has anybody been watching the football game? Good Lord, what are you doing back there?
That's poor coaching. Nobody's telling Tony Pollard, get up.
Lobs it out of the back of the end zone.
It's 4th down and 7. And here's the field goal try.
Kick up and good.
I would have gone for it. You got to get a touchdown. There are no moral victories. This is a big loss.
This is very frustrating. Some of the fundamentals of coaching were what beat us out there with. The makeup of this team, I shouldn't be this frustrated.
No one has earned the right to say, I'm a Jason Garrett man more than me. But in this business, you've got to come in first. I want Jason to get it done.
I mean, that is pretty much it. And Jane Slater, on your Twitter feed, you were pointing out all week long that Jerry just has not cooled off since Sunday. And now here comes Thanksgiving Day against the Bills.
Yeah, you know, Rich, Cowboy fans have talked about Jason Garrett's job security over water cooler for years, but the truth is he's never really been in jeopardy. That was until this week. Those of us that have covered this team over the years saw about how uncomfortable this thing has been around the Star in Frisco, and the mandate was set. This team has to start winning games, but not just win games, win them against playoff contending teams. They are 0-4 against winning teams this season. They'll have a chance to do that against the 8-3 Bills as they come in here, but if they do not right this ship, it's hard to envision that Jason Garrett will be past this final year of his contract. I will point out, though, that the locker room still has his support. Cornerback Jordan Lewis says he believes in them. They believe in him. Now to NFL insider Ian Rappaport.
Thanks, Jane. If there's one thing we've known about Jason Garrett really throughout this entire season, it's that he has been on the hot seat in the final year of his deal. He had to, and the Cowboys wanted it this way, win his way to a contract extension. And listening to the comments of Jerry Jones today, it is very clear for a couple things. First of all, Jason Garrett has to win. He has to win. He has to finish first to keep his job. And my understanding, guys, is that he has to go deep into the playoffs to earn another contract extension. The other thing, Rich, and also important, there's going to be no midseason firing for the Cowboys, something Stephen Jones told me on the record, something Jerry Jones said this week. Either way, Jason Garrett is going to see this out through the season.
And that's consistent with what we saw, if you remember, I think it's 10 years ago now, when the Cowboys went into New Orleans on that Saturday night, Thursday night football special. And the Saints had not yet lost a game. And the Cowboys season was potentially on the line. Yeah. And remember, Jerry came on the set and before the game said he was nervous as a cat because he knew if they lost that, it would have to mean he'd have to fire Wade Phillips. They did win that game. He did eventually fire Wade the next year in the middle of the season, which is the last time they did change coaches. That's how Jason Garrett got the gig. So it's tough to ask this question because, you know, as you know Irv better than pretty much anybody here. You were teammates with him. Yeah, I love him. He came with a big win on Thanksgiving one year. Yep. He came through as a quarterback. He's a good dude. But the question is, head coaches get blamed when you're 6-5, certainly when the owner's your general manager providing talent like he has. Is this Jason Garrett's the fact is he holding up the Cowboys here?
Well, listen. There are some things that are glaring, you know, and we like to sit and talk about it as you coach a football team. There are certain things and certain issues that you wish players can overcome. Like even that play right there, the returner. You've been seeing these returns. You should be up on the 10-yard line. But if you're not, coaching should tell you to get up on the 10-yard line. All decisions in this business falls on the hands or the head of the head coach. That's why I always say, guys, it's the POTUS, and then from 2 to 33, when we talk about pressure upon your job, are NFL head coaches. So you got to say everything falls on the head coach, everything. And it's not going well with that talent, so it falls on Jason Garrett. Whatever words y'all put around it, holding them back, whatever, not getting the job done, it falls on Coach Garrett.
Well, I mean, obviously, as you said, there's blame to go around when you're a team that's bouncing around at 500. And you look at their 5 losses. I mean, 4 of them have come by 4 points or less. So a lot of people can point and go, oh, well, that's one coaching decision between winning and losing. I look at it the other way, and I believe that the players have to get between the lines and make plays to win games for your football team. And so here's what I did. I had our stat guy, Jack, put together a stat. We're just calling it game-changing plays stat. And so he put a bunch of stuff in there. It's like the quarterback rating. I don't know what all he mixes in there to get this stat. But I believe that good teams have game-changing type players. They make game-changing plays through the course of games. The Dallas Cowboys would rank 16th in that stat. Guess who the top 3 teams are? The Niners, the Patriots, the Ravens. There is something to being able to make plays in the moment. Doesn't matter how good you look on paper. Doesn't matter what the roster looks like. Man, on paper, we look really, really good. Do you have game-changing type players that win games for you when you're down 2, you're down 4? You got a chance in the red zone last week to score a touchdown and win that football game. I'm not sure Dallas has those game-changing type players, or at least I haven't seen them. So blame Coach Garrett for part of it. But I believe the players.
But they do have them. They have those players. We've seen Zeke when he controls a game. We've seen Amari Cooper control a game.
It's not about controlling or playing well. It's about in the moments when your team needs a play to be made, do you have guys that can step up and make them? Some teams have them. Some teams don't. Even though those teams can be good teams, you got to be able to make those plays in the moment. I haven't seen enough of that from the Cowboys.
I think the issue is maybe just combining what you're saying here is that they do have
and they got to get
players
that opportunity.
who can make plays.
On
they
4th down,
they either A, haven't made them when they need them the most, or have been given the opportunity by their coach to make them because he's punting in the no man's land of, like, say, the 40-yard line of the opponent, or when it's just 4th and 3, or last week, you're against a team in New England that's given up 9 touchdowns all year. You're on the 11-yard line. You may not get this close again. I understand it's 4th and 7, but how do you not say at this point in time, with this deficit as it is, the clock as it is, that you go for it right there, and altogether it's just not working, Steve?
Well, it's not working because the record is 6-5. You know, if they would have won a couple of those close games, we wouldn't have this discussion. I like Jason a lot. I like his style of coaching. I like how he does things. He lost some games, but he hasn't lost the locker room. I really believe that. I hope he survives this because the pressure is on. We get it. He's on the hot seat. There's only 2 teams in the National Football League that rank in the top 6 on both sides of the ball. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. That's it. So they're doing a lot of things right, all right? They're not finishing games. That's the problem. Their 2-minute drill or 4-minute drill at the end sometimes fails them, whether it's decision-making or a special teams play or a penalty, whatever. But their losses are by 2, by 2, by 4, by 4. You know, one play here or there, that record is considerably different. So let's play a good game against a good team today.
Well, I mean, on one coaching decision here or there, guys. And that's why we say you can put the blame a lot of places. But ultimately, it falls on the head.
It always did, and it always will fall. He's
I understand
responsible
that.
for everything.
Just to, I guess, put a button on it in a way, just that sequence we're talking about, where they got in the red zone against New England. The first play was an option. They went option. Okay. So and then the next 2 were incomplete passes, and then all right, let's now kick a field goal. And then the special teams gaffes that we're seeing, whether it was Pollard not being where he was supposed to be, I think Jerry Jones is also still ticked off of Tavon Austin calling for a fair catch against the Vikings with 17 seconds to go instead of taking that extra 15 yards, maybe coughing up 5 seconds. I mean, there's just moments like this. Then, unfortunately, the officiating comes in with 2 tripping calls that were tripping. Okay, and I mean figuratively, not literally. But I mean, all of that leads to just so much that I don't know how it can be overcome. And here come the Bills today at 8-3.
They're for real.
And the pressure is on. There is no question about that. And the same has been in Chicago, where the reigning coach of the year and this kid have just not been on the same page. The question is, what about last week? Could that mean something? Or was it just a 2-win Giants team that they were able to take advantage of? And that's how the Bears come into Thanksgiving.
The expectations in the Windy City are sky high. Trubisky to the end zone, and it's going to be picked off.
To the end zone, intercepted.
He has not been an accurate passer this season.
Chase Daniel is coming into the ballgame.
This is a turning point.
He just wasn't feeling right. His hip was hurting him.
Nobody cares anymore about injuries. It's about production.
It's not good enough. It's not nearly good enough.
So is it Mitchell and Mitch? Is that what it is? Like one's Mitch, one's Mitchell? I don't know which one's the good, which one's the bad. But last year, what they were hoping for this year, it's just been average, and then at times just shockingly